There's a subtle discomfort many people are starting to notice. Not burnout in the traditional sense, not exhaustion from doing too much, but a quieter kind of fatigue, from living in a way that no longer feels aligned. Because for years, we were taught that a better life meant adding more upgrades, more purchases, more routines, more visibility. But here's what often goes unspoken. More doesn't always translate to better. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, people are beginning to redefine what living well actually means. Not louder, not faster, but more intentional. And this is where redefined living begins. First shift, from accumulation to discernment. There was a time when having options felt like freedom. Closets full, calendars full, homes full. But eventually, fullness becomes noise. And noise makes it difficult to recognize what you actually value. Redefined living is not about deprivation. It's about discernment. Choosing fewer things, but choosing them well. Because the real distinction is quieter than that. It's not about what you can afford. It's about what you choose to keep. This is why two people can spend the same amount of money and live completely different experiences. One collects, the other curates, and this is where it becomes interesting. Curation requires identity. You cannot refine your life if you don't know what aligns with you. The second shift, from performance to presence. For a long time, life has been subtly performative. Outfits chosen for visibility, spaces designed for approval, moments curated for sharing. But performance creates distance. Distance from yourself, distance from real satisfaction. Redefined living removes the audience. It asks a quieter question. Would you still choose this if no one saw it? Because presence, true presence, looks very different. It looks like a dinner you enjoy without documenting, a space that feels calm, not styled, a routine that supports you, not impresses others. And this isn't about rejecting beauty. It's about grounding it. Because beauty, when it's real, doesn't need to announce itself. Third shift, from reaction to composure. Most modern lifestyles are reactive. Notifications, trends, urgency disguised as importance. And over time, this creates a certain kind of internal instability. You move quickly, but without direction. You respond constantly, but rarely reflect. Redefined living introduces something far more powerful: composure, not as an aesthetic, but as a baseline. Slower decisions, measured responses, intentional pauses, because the ability to not react immediately is a form of quiet control, and control in its most refined form never looks rushed. This is why some people appear effortlessly composed. It's not personality. It's structure. They've removed what disrupts them. The fourth shift, from consumption to investment. This is where many people misunderstand refinement. They assume it's about spending more. But refined living is not expensive by default. It's selective. It asks, will this last? Will this improve my daily experience? Will this still feel right in a year? Because there is a difference between buying something and investing in how you live. And this is where many people get it wrong. They upgrade constantly, but never stabilize. They chase newness, but never experience depth. Redefined living replaces novelty with longevity, fewer purchases, better materials, timeless decisions. Not because it's trendy, but because it removes friction from your life. Shift from overstimulation to clarity. Modern environments are rarely calm. Too many colors, too many inputs, too many decisions. And while this feels normal, it quietly fragments your attention. Redefined living simplifies your environment, not for aesthetics alone, but for mental clarity. Because your surroundings are not neutral, they shape your pace, your focus, your emotional state. This is why certain spaces feel immediately grounding. They are not empty, they are intentional. Every object has a reason, every detail has restraint, and that restraint creates something rare, mental quiet. The sixth shift, from external validation to internal standards. There is a subtle dependency many people don't notice. The need for confirmation, that something looks good, that something is right, that something is enough. But external validation is inconsistent and often misaligned. Redefined living replaces this with internal standards, a quiet, steady understanding of what works for you, what feels aligned, what holds value over time. And this changes everything, because once your standards become internal, you stop negotiating with noise. The seventh shift, from fast living to layered living. Fast living is efficient, but it lacks depth. Everything becomes immediate, disposable, replaceable. Redefined living slows the pace, not to delay life, but to experience it fully. Meals are not rushed. Purchases are not impulsive. Decisions are not reactive. And what you gain is something most people overlook: texture. A sense that your life is not just happening, but unfolding. But here's the deeper layer. Redefined living is not really about aesthetics, or minimalism, or even luxury. It's about alignment. Aligning your environment with your mind, your choices with your values, your pace with your capacity, because misalignment is what creates that quiet discomfort in the first place. And once alignment is restored, everything feels different, not dramatic, not extreme, just right. You don't need to rebuild your life overnight. In fact, redefined living rarely looks dramatic. It looks like editing instead of adding, pausing instead of reacting, choosing instead of collecting. Small shifts, repeated consistently, until your life begins to feel like something you chose, not something you inherited. If you've been craving a calmer, more considered way of living, you're in the right place.